Good evening, and thanks for joining us for this special presentation. Each year, as we look ahead to winter, there are a variety of factors to consider when making our forecast. During this next half hour, our First Morning Meteorologist team will introduce you to a number of historic, scientific, and other factors that we use to predict what kind of winter we'll have. Join us as we look ahead to this winter in our 2023 Wintercast. This special is brought to you by Marcella's Appliance. In order to look forward, let's first look back. First Warning meteorologist Reed Kisselback looked through all of the snowfall records in Albany back to 1938. He joins us now to break down some of the long-term and short-term trends we've seen in the capital region.
I went back and pulled all the snowfall records for Albany going back to 1938. 4 out of 5 of our top 5 snowiest winter seasons occurred between 1970 and 1993. Only twice have we seen more than 100 inches of snow during that time period, with the winter of 1970 to 1971 taking the crown at 112.5 inches. To the least snowiest winter seasons, all 5 of our least snowiest seasons have occurred during or after the winter season of 1979 to 1980. Once again, it is only twice that we have seen less than 20 inches of snow, with the winter of 2015 to 2016 taking the crown at just 16.9 inches. That was a strong El Nino year. Going back to 1950, I took the 30-year snowfall average over the course of those 70 years. What I found was that in that time period, the average annual snowfall decreased each and every time period from the 30-year average from the 1960s to 80s up until now. Only time will tell if this is a sign of things to come. Something else to note, in more recent years, we've had several big storms producing a significant amount of snow for the total season. From December 1st to 3rd in 2019, Albany got 22.6 inches of snow, almost half of the total snowfall for the season. From December 16th to 17th of 2020, we received 22.9 inches of snow, just over 40% of the total snowfall for the season.
Reed mentioned some of the bigger storms we've had in recent history. Now, First Warning meteorologist WNYT Martinez introduces us to why big storms like nor'easters can be incredible snow producers. Bombogenesis.
Bombogenesis happens when a cyclone or a low-pressure system undergoes a quick drop in the central pressure by more than 1 millibar per hour over a 24-hour period. This significant drop in the pressure is an indication of the strengthening of a system. The term comes from the combination of the word cyclogenesis, that refers to the development of a cyclone, and the explosive intensification of a low, which is frequently referred to as a bomb in meteorology. When a cold air mass encounters a warmer air mass, bombogenesis can occur. Significant contrast in temperature usually help with the development of this process. The sharp temperature gradient allows a cyclone to rapidly intensify. The tighter the gradient, the more intense a storm becomes. This process can happen year-round, but it is more likely to occur during colder seasons and along the northern Atlantic coasts. This is because of the stark temperature difference between the chilly air over land and the warmer sea surface temperatures. When low-pressure storms generate this way along the East Coast, they are called nor'easters. The colder air acts as fuel for this kind of system. Nor'easters can produce strong hurricane-force winds, heavy rain, wet snow, and blizzards. There are 2 different types of classifications for this particular type of storm. They are categorized by their storm track and the setup of the high and low pressure centers. Miller Type A nor'easters typically develop in the Gulf of Mexico or along the southeast coast along an old front. It intensifies rapidly as it moves up the coastline. Mid-Atlantic and New England states are often hit the hardest. The superstorm of 1993 is a classic example of a Miller Type A nor'easter. Miller Type B nor'easters originate as an area of low pressure over the Midwest, then moves east. Another low then forms on the east side of the Appalachian Mountains, close to the coastline. Heavy snow occurs for New England and Mid-Atlantic states. The North American blizzard of 2010 is an example of a Miller Type B nor'easter.
Snow may not be the only factor this winter that we're watching out for, as there can be a wide variety of winter weather. 15 years ago, the capital region was hit by a massive ice storm that caused chaos across the region. Some lost power for days. We dug into our news vault and found some original reporting from 2008.
Let's talk about what happened back on this date, December the 12th, 2008. Today, again, we tend to kind of chronicle some of these significant weather events, and today, one of the most significant that we've seen in a while.
This with the ice, and it's still up there, limbs continually breaking. It's dangerous.
Whoa! Holy! Whoa! It's not bad. We got four-wheel drive, and I'm hoping the school buses can all make it to school tomorrow on time.
What's your answer to that?
I don't want to go to school.
Albany is closed, North Colony, South Colony, North Warren, Guilderland, Cohoes, Mechanicville, Saratoga, Shen, Schenectady, Troy. You know, the big ones, and everybody else is falling in place.
I'm 90 years old, never saw anything like this before in my lifetime.
There are 11 hotels along Wolf Road here, and every one of them is full.
As you can see, the length of this massive tree is about the distance in between the two houses. So neighbors here feel extremely fortunate that nobody was hurt or worse, even killed. Penny Hatch of Lansingburg came home to find her small freezer floating in over a foot of water, along with everything else.
My furnace, my hot water heater, 2 washers, 2 dryers, all my husband's tools.
Like many, the Hatches have a sump pump, but they don't have power.
Our crews are not designed for substation. There's other crews that are designed to bring the power to the sub. If we don't have power from the substation, I can't get it to you. While those guys are working on the substation issues, we're trying to put up everything we can out here, so when they've got power, they can throw a switch and you'll have power. That's the best I can tell you.
We're into the 5th day. It's getting old. Just be patient. We're doing the best we can do. I mean, we can only do just so much.
To all the volunteers and all the workers and all the individuals who at times have been in unsafe environments trying to create power and help those who are been disabled by this unfortunate disaster, we want to thank them all.
When we get back, Christina Talamo digs deeper into one massive force that impacts our winter. She'll explain the polar vortex next. Plus, be sure to stick around because I'll tell you just how much snow we're predicting this season. My winter outlook still ahead.
Sir, would you like to talk to us about snow? Okay. Hey, you guys want to talk about snow? Snow accumulation? How much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
I have no idea, but anything is too much for me.
Why? You want to come over and tell us? Willa's learning how to snowboard.
When predicting Arctic cold outbreaks, we turn to the phenomenon that impacts the cycles around the world. Christina Talamo introduces us to the polar vortex and explains how it can impact our forecasting.
The polar vortex is a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding both poles of the Earth. Now, it is always there, but weakens during the summer months and strengthens during the winter months. The term vortex refers to the counterclockwise circulation of winds that keeps the cold air locked in near the poles. When the polar vortex is stronger, it traps the cold air in the Arctic. However, when the polar vortex weakens, the jet stream in this area of low pressure dips southward and breaks off, sending colder air southwards into the United States. Now, this is common during the winter time and could lead to large outbreaks of cold Arctic air over the U.S. This would bring below average temperatures and potentially more snow to the Northeast. The polar vortex can be difficult to monitor, though, because it's hard to forecast its behavior more than a few weeks in advance. So, even if it is strengthening now, that could all change. If the polar vortex weakens in midwinter, as it often does, we would see much colder air drop into the Northeast. So for that reason, this is something we'll just have to keep an eye on over the next several months.
Before my forecast leading into this winter, I wanted to see how my prediction from last year held up. Let's take a look. We've shown that global weather patterns play a big part in seasonal weather forecasting. Strong or weak El Niños and strong or weak La Niñas provide a big puzzle piece to a larger puzzle when trying to determine what to expect a whole season ahead of time. Last year, we were in a weak to moderate La Nina, and our official first warning forecast for the winter season from back in November was for 45 to 55 inches of snow, or slightly below normal. We ended up with 55 inches. We also talked about how coming out of a La Nina into a neutral pattern could mean more snow at the end of winter compared to the beginning. And you could see we picked up almost 40% of our snow last year in March. As for temperature, last year's La Nina guided us to a forecast of above average temperatures for last winter. Well, not only were we above normal, but it was the 6th warmest winter on record going back 200 years. We had the 5th warmest January on record and the 10th warmest February. So you can see how these large-scale patterns can help provide guidance, but not guarantees. Coming up a little later, we'll take a look at what we can expect for this winter. Still to come, each year at News Channel 13, we have a snowfall contest. Coming up, you'll meet last year's winners and hear just how much snow they think we're in for. Plus, my winter outlook is still ahead. Within News Channel 13, we have some people who love snow and some who don't. Some hope for blizzards and others hope the ground stays dry. First warning meteorologist Rachel Teedy reports.
Every year, we have an internal WNYT snowfall total poll where people guess how much snow we're going to get. Well, the top 5 people of last year's poll qualified to be interviewed for this year's Wintercast. So, coming in at number 5 is photojournalist Bill Webster. Let's go find him. Bill Webster, how are you? Good. Lucky you were number 5 on our WNYT internal snowfall total poll last year. So we have to ask you your opinion this year. How much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
Well, I've been doing a lot of research on the Farmer's Almanac, that's with a PH, and it seems like the jet stream is going to continue this year up to late 24, so I'm going to go pretty high. What were my numbers last year?
I can't tell you what your numbers were last year. That's cheating.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking 8 and 8, 64, and then we'll add another 4, so we'll go 68.5.
68.5. So, for reference, he did guess last year. He guessed 44.6. You're a little higher than what you said last year.
I believe the jet stream is going to continue. We're getting a lot of fast current rain, and I think that's going to push on through the winter. And we're get your shovels ready and get the salt ready.
Well, thank you, Bill. Remains to be seen if he's right.
Good luck.
Thank you. Let's go find number 4. Number 4 on our list is Assistant Chief Engineer Steve D'Ambrosio. So let's go check in with him to see what he has to say for this year. Hi, Steve. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
We're interrupting your work day. So, how much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
I think about 45.
45
inches. Yep.
So you were number 4 on our list last year. Your guess was 45.3 inches.
Okay.
So you're right on the money where you were last year.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind your guess?
Well, the El Nino special kind of helped me out,
Yep.
So I'm hoping, I'm hoping less, but 45 I'm giving a good guess.
You're hoping less. Are you not a snow guy?
No, I'm not a snow guy.
Okay. I think Paul might disagree with you.
Yeah, I know Paul loves the snow. Even though I'm from the Northeast, I don't really like it at all.
I think a lot of people agree with you. All right, Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Number 3 on our snow poll was Roger Weiland. So let's find him. Sports director Roger Weiland, busy watching basketball here. Yeah. You were number 3 on our snow poll last year. How much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
We will have the lowest amount of snow in the history of the capital region.
That's a bold claim. Yeah. What science are you basing that on?
In my own mind.
Your own mind?
It's my own mind. I'm kind of making it up, really, but no, I seriously.
Wishful thinking.
I still think that we will be in the low 40s.
Are you not a snow guy?
I cannot stand the snow, but I've lived here 37 years, so I deal with it.
So you had 49 inches last year for the amount of snow. You think it'll be less than that?
I do. I'm gonna go in like the 42 range.
Okay.
So, and 49 was not that much, right?
That was less than what we got, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go below where I was a year ago.
All right.
To be in that 42 range.
All right. Remains to be seen. All right. Thanks so much, Raj. Let's go find our next person. Coming in second on our list is Ben Gorenstein, who's one of our digital content guys. So, Ben, big question for you. You came in number 2 last year.
Okay.
So a lot of pressure riding on this. How much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
I'm going with 42.3 inches, Rachel.
Last year, you were at 54.3.
Yes.
So why are you going with your number this year?
I want to say El Nino.
Someone watched our El Nino special.
There you go.
Are you going to watch the Wintercast special?
Of course.
Shameless plug for our Wintercast special. Ben Gorenstein, thank you so much. Chief meteorologist Paul Cayano. How are you?
Hey,
He's here.
Looking up some record highs.
For snow or temperature?
For temperature.
I was gonna
so warm.
I was going to say snow would be cheating for this little interview here. Now, last year, you were the champion of our internal snow poll, which I feel like would have been embarrassing if you hadn't been, considering.
Well, I've been embarrassed for about 30 years now because it took me that long to win the contest. I've been guessing for so many years in a row.
But you are the chief now, so I feel like it matters.
Understood.
Right. So, the big question that everybody has for you always, how much snow are we going to get this year?
Well, I haven't put together the official forecast, but we have these things like El Nino going on. I'd like to say that I looked at everything to this point, but I haven't. But my gut tells me that it's going to be below normal, but above last year.
So, for the poll, you have to give a number.
Right.
So I have to ask you for a number.
You want the number?
I want the number.
All right, so let's say, I'll stick with my original thoughts, and I'll say...
It remains to be seen if Paul gets it right or anybody else gets it right. What if it's one of the people who didn't place in the top 5 this year?
I think everybody deserves a shot.
You think so?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's funny because, we were always, people say, oh, you just throwing a dart at a dartboard, right? And I think giving everybody an equal shot, anybody could win.
Well, those were our top 5 winners of the internal WNYT poll last year. We'll see who wins this year. Reporting for News Channel 13, I'm Rachel T.
Now that we've covered multiple factors that go into the forecast, here's my winter outlook. So what does this winter look like? Well, one of the major drivers for our weather pattern is El Nino. El Nino originates in the Pacific Ocean, but the repercussions are felt across the globe as well as here in the northeastern United States. A large part of what we can expect is derived from El Nino, so with the latest signal still showing a strong El Nino continuing through the winter months, we'll put a lot of weight on this particular puzzle piece. Other factors include the polar vortex, which Christina talked about, historically low Arctic sea ice, and below normal snowfall in Siberia. Combine those factors with abnormally high ocean surface temperatures across the globe and historically one of the warmest years on the planet, and it becomes easier to see how it's difficult to forecast a cold and snowy winter. But all is not lost if you're a snow lover. With the active southern storm track, there will be multiple opportunities for coastal storms. We've already seen a few of these develop this season and miss us to the south and east, but if a few curve up the coast, we could be looking at impactful snowstorms, which could push us closer to normal snow for the season, even in this unfavorable environment. As far as temperatures go, very strong El Ninos usually bring milder winters. That, with long-range and short-term trends milder across the globe, this points to another winter with above normal temperatures. Occasional cold air intrusions will once again be likely, and the timing of these will be important. Any cold outbreak followed by an active storm track could lead to ice. I think we'll have at least a couple of impactful freezing rain events that'll disrupt travel locally. There's also a good chance that we'll see a more significant ice storm that could include power outages. So we've talked a lot about the driving forces and historic trends for the winter months. Now it's time for the details. As far as temperatures go, the approach we've taken is to start out well above normal and then subtract. Shots of Arctic air may prevent us from having an historically warm winter, but without long stretches of significant cold, we should be above normal. The average temperature for December through February, highs and lows, is 27.2 degrees. This year, I'm forecasting an average of 29 to 31 degrees, which would be one of the top 10 warmest winters on record. As for snow, all of the previously mentioned factors would point toward a very low number. So we'll start there, but with the sheer number of storm opportunities, given the active southern jet stream, the probability of at least a couple of these storms coming close enough to bring us decent snowfall goes up. The average snowfall for the entire season is 59.2 inches in Albany. This year, I think we'll land between 45 and 55 inches. Coming up, we went out and asked people in the capital region what they believe indicates if the winter will be snowy or dry. Your answers about common winter superstitions next.
How much snow do you think we're going to get this year?
I think it's going to be probably like Canada. Maybe 2 feet.
Maybe like 16.
This time in January, how, like the snow's up here?
Taller.
Like here? That's a lot of snow, dude.
I think it's going to be 59.3. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. It's, yeah.
Despite what we say about this winter's outlook, there may be some superstitions that some folks use to predict this winter's weather themselves. Photojournalist Justin Shumway hit the streets to see how you predict just how much snow we're going to get.
Gonna interview some people about snowfall and accumulation and superstition. Hey, guy on Mike, you want to talk about snow? No? He did not want to talk about snow. Do you have any superstitions about snow?
No.
Superstitions about snow?
No.
Do you have any superstitions about the snow? Do you have any superstitions about the winter and snowfall and stuff?
No. I grew up in Buffalo. We always had snow.
Like even during the summer?
No, I'm talking winter. Come on.
Do you have any snow superstitions?
Ice cube on the toilet.
On the toilet or in the toilet?
In the toilet.
Do you flush it? Turn your pajamas inside out?
No, I did none of that.
You just shoveled the snow?
Shoveled the snow.
No superstitions?
No superstitions.
Put a spoon under the pillow. You ever heard that one? No. Me neither. What? We're all collectively putting a spoon under our pillow tonight.
You put it in the freezer.
In the freezer. Whatever floats the boat.
The caterpillar, like if it's fatter?
Don't know nothing about it.
Me neither. What about...
Wearing pajamas inside out.
What was the one with the caterpillar? If you saw it get fat, it means there's going to be more snow.
No, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, me neither.
You put your pajamas inside out and backwards. You put a spoon in the freezer, and then you take an ice cube and you flush it down the toilet.
Does this work for adults as well? Willow, what's some superstitions you have?
I think...
What about turning your pajamas inside out?
You just made that up?
Something with caterpillars. The fatter they are, the more snow there's going to be.
Never heard that one either, man. I'm sorry.
Nobody knows anything about superstitions. Put a spoon under the pillow. This person's running away from us. Up top.
Up top.
That was photojournalist Justin Shumway. If you'd like to learn more about El Nino or other weather phenomenon, you can head to our website at WNYT.com. As far as what this winter will look like, time will tell. Thanks for joining us for this special presentation, and have a good night.